Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah Craig. Room Balladeer is back, and I am on my way to Maple Valley, Washington today, which is about 20 to 30 miles southeast of Seattle. I am visiting a psychic, clairvoyant, and spiritual healer today, Bernadette Gold, right in Maple Valley. Let's see what happens. This is going to be a fun episode. It's the Break Room Balladeer. Stopping at Vintage Vino and Espresso first. Hi, can I get a medium drip coffee, please? I have a show right here at Vintage Vino and Espresso in Maple Valley on October 20th at 7 p.m. and it's a free show, so I had to come through and get some coffee. If you're around on October 20th, you should really come out to Vintage Vino and Espresso. It's a great, great time. Every time I play here, it's just fabulous. I love it.
Hey guys, it's Bernadette with Bernadette Gold, and this is Jeremiah Craig.
Hey everybody. This is the first time I've ever been to a psychic, either in a business capacity or personal capacity. So I'm really excited to get into speaking with you, having a reading, and playing some music too. When did you realize that you had these gifts?
When I was little, but it wasn't accepted. So for the most part, I kept everything hidden and tried to run from it until I was about 25.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of cornered me with a bunch of supernatural things that had happened and really off the wall, which I'm writing a book about right now, my whole life.
Wow, what's the book called?
Right now, the title, and it's changed several times. The title right now is The Crooked Path to Awakening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's one story that made you realize, oh, wow, like this is what I'm meant to do?
I'll tell you the story of how I ended up doing this.
Sure, yeah.
So I had a training facility, horse training facility in San Diego, and I was happy. Life was good. We were living up here initially, me and my 3-year-old daughter, and we had some major traumas happen with her. We moved to California, to San Diego. But right before I made the move to San Diego, I started hearing in my dreams and in visions and from my guides, you're moving to Colorado. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Because I've always lived between Seattle and California.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a 1995, 2000 hit. I had my training facility. I decided I'm going to follow my dreams and train horses and get out of corporate because I did marketing. And was happy. And in one day, I woke up, had a dream that everything was falling apart, woke up to a voice saying, it's time to move. Within 2 weeks, I was living in Colorado. I had to sell everything on my property. I had 8 horses, took 2 with me, and got there without a clue as to what I was going to do for work. So we get there, and I was trusting in all of the visions and everything I heard, and everyone thought I was insane. Like, you don't know anyone there. And I got there, and I went, Spirit, what am I going to do? And somehow this ad popped up or email popped up from this company called Keen. And it was like, get a free reading. And I was like, oh, look, okay. So you want me to get a reading to tell me where to get a job? Because everything there was like $10 an hour. And I was like, wow, this is not going to work. And immediately I was going to go get a reading. And I heard very clearly, no, you're going to give them. And I didn't know that you could make money at it because it wasn't my focus. You know, I did readings for myself and did them for friends and stuff like that, but it wasn't something that I was focused on. And the first day I worked, I think I made like $45. And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least it's something I can feed the kid. And the next day I made $90 and it kept doubling. And I was like, this is like an actual job. Well, I had studied psychology because of the trauma my daughter had been through. I studied a bunch of theology, spirituality, psychology. I studied a bunch of stuff. So it wasn't like I couldn't do things to help people, but to do it in such a way where people are asking me questions and now I have to give them guidance into their lives and into the future was a little scary. It put me very much on the spot. And by the end of the first week, I had like this list of clients, and every time I turn on, I'd have a waiting list. You know, I had really good feedback, and I was like, nothing else is panning out. So I guess this is what I'm going to do. And I still trained horses, but I did readings, and I just have not stopped since. And it's built. I mean, I teach classes now, and I have a program called Charm Life. That's a transformational, either 12-week or 1-year program. That's kind of like counseling on steroids to teach people how to create their lives, get over trauma, that sort of thing.
You say on your website that you are no BS psychic. Can you explain why you came right out and did, like, it's very straightforward. It's an industry full of what people may be skeptical of as maybe con artists.
It's funny because I did a radio or podcast interview last year and it came out. I actually put that tagline after that because he titled that podcast The No Bullshit Psychic, right? Because I'm not what everybody expects. You know, a lot of people expect that I'm going to be, I don't know, wearing a head thing or a bunch of beads and I'm not articulate or whatever. And then I'm going to spy into people's lives and tell them a fairy tale. And that's not the kind of psychic I am. I don't use my gifts for that. And I put a stop to things like that. So very much like, if you want the truth, that's what you're going to get. But if you're calling for a fairy tale, I'm not the person you want to call. And I think whoever comes to me is gravitating because they're wanting the truth, where if they want a fairy tale, they will probably gravitate to the people that's only going to tell them what they want to hear. So to me, it's not like I'm trying to prove myself different from anybody. I'm just me, and I'm here to do what I do, right? If it works for you, good. You feel comfortable with it, let's talk. If you don't, and you're more kind of gravitating towards the fluff and the fairy tales, yeah, you're going to find me probably pretty offensive. I will call people on their bullshit too. You know, it's just the way I am. And I don't think it helps anybody in the job that I have and what they're calling me for to kind of pat their ego. In fact, I teach against the ego. I teach how to control the ego, because I think that's what gets us in the way of having what we want in life anyways. What
is your advice for people trying to start their own business?
Don't do it if you're not fully invested, because you'll be pushing a boulder uphill, and running your own business sucks. I mean, you're constantly, you know, you're doing your own marketing, you're doing your own websites, you're fielding calls, you're doing your own billing. There's a lot to it, right? Even as a psychic, there's a lot to it if you're going to be successful. And now with social media, whole other thing you have to get good at. But if you're not passionate and really heart-centered about what you're doing, eventually that business will burn you out. There have been like total feast where everything's just super easy and word of mouth is, you know, really good. I don't have to work at marketing. People just find me my scheduled books. And then there's times where it's like, wow, the phone's not ringing, you know, and I'm giving away so much of my time for free. And I do a lot of that. Like, I don't like money to be the barrier between me and someone who say is going to kill themselves. Like, I'll be that person that picks up that phone, even though, right? So there's those times too. And if I wasn't so passionate about helping people, I would not be where I am after all these years. There's no way, because it's not easy. It's fun when my clients message me or call me and are like, oh my God, you remember you said it happened, you know, and they're happy. And it was easy for them to know, okay, I knew what to look for. And so I said yes to it. And oh my God, better than I could have imagined. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like that, right?
Yeah.
I just have to keep my ego in check.
You're going to keep doing it, right?
Of course. Yeah. Every time I say, actually, the last couple of years, I felt like, man, I'm just going to get a job. It'd be so much less time and less energy. And every time I say that, something happens and it's like, no, I'm going to keep doing this, you know?
Very cool. Thank you for answering all my questions, Bernadette.
Try easy. Trying too hard has betrayed me. Men in the vanguard invade me, and with just a few scars we relax and sneak past in the morning. Now they're faceless, built on this bark to be graceless. The earth rolled as the logs to inflate it. With false empty throngs we relax and sneak past in the morning. We were chased in to get in line for erase when we recalled some sweet wines made with raisins, and we'll drink it in time. We relax and sneak past in the morning. Just as I noticed, we won't age when we're young, and youth when we're grown, and played a song from home. And I heard voices in the overtones. Yes, hello old friends, you've had much to defend.